If you were a betting man or woman, Chuck Schumer versus Donald Trump, and on anything they argue about, who do you think would win? Who do you think's going to win? Each and every time. As a matter of fact, not just once, but who do you think was always going to win that battle? The guy whose last name rhymes with bump, and I'm going to give him a Trump bump right now. Endoftheamericandream.com. That was Michael Snyder's other blog site. He has the Economic Collapse blog. Now, of course, he named it endoftheamericandream.com long ago because he saw the things that we all saw. Things I've been talking about on YouTube for years. The destruction of our country. They're trying to push us in the New World Order. The end of the American dream. And then Trump got elected. But he has a nice little interesting article I want to talk about. Food stamp money will run out by the end of January if the government shutdown lasts that long. According to the Department of Agriculture, if this government shutdown stretches into February, there won't be money for food stamps. And it certainly looks like this shutdown could last for quite a while because President Trump is not backing down on his demand for border wall funding, and the Democrats have pledged not to give him a single penny. So a few weeks from now, approximately 38 million people could be suddenly cut off from the food stamp program. If that scenario were to unfold, there is no telling what could happen. Now, 38 million people. That is a lot of people on food stamps. Between you and me, do you really think in this country, in America, we have 38 million legitimate requests and need for food stamps? How many of those 38 million are freeloaders? How many of those 38 million are illegal immigrants? I'm going to tell you, probably the lion's share, those two things, are probably the lion's share, and very few Americans, citizens, are actually on food stamps in comparison to the rest. That's what I think, and I believe we've heard recently about the whole welfare system, that a shockingly high amount of illegals are actually on it. So that's not just me talking. If that scenario were to unfold, there's no telling what could happen. After just a few days, government workers are already freaking out about having their paychecks delayed. If people are getting this restless already, what will things look like when tens of millions of Americans are suddenly cut off from their primary source of food money? Even though the government has been shut down, the Department of Agriculture still has some existing financial resources at their disposal, and they are assuring us that those enrolled in the food stamp program will still receive their benefits for January. The following comes from fake news CNN. Eligible households will still receive monthly SNAP benefits for January, but other domestic nutrition assistance programs such as the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, or WIC, and the Food Distribution Program on Indian reservations will only be operational based on available resources. Additional federal funds and commodities will not be provided during the shutdown. Child nutrition programs, including school lunch, school breakfast, child and adult care feeding, summer food service, and special milk will continue through February. Boy, can I just say something? There sure is a hell of a lot of handout type of food. This is just the food part of it. Child nutrition programs, including school lunch, school breakfast, child and adult care feeding, summer food service, special milk program will continue. That's just the school part of this. What about the food SNAP, the SNAP, the WIC? Holy crap. No wonder why these people want to come from other countries to ours. They don't have that over there. Either go with your family and they'll help you, or that's it. But my family doesn't want to help me. So then you're homeless on the streets. Somehow these other countries survive. But again, you're over there living like that. Man, if I could just make it across that border. Man, if I could just even pretend to be a refugee, then they'd have to give me refugee status. I get to come into America. And immediately, because I have absolutely no skills whatsoever, because again, I've been a poor person from another country, in this case, a South American country. What am I going to offer these people? What am I going to offer the system in America? Nothing. But I'm going to live better than I've ever lived in my entire life. Because I'm going from nothing to something. And 100% of something, or excuse me, a few percent of something is far better than 100% of nothing. Can you blame these people for wanting to come here? I can't blame them. I can't blame them for wanting to come here. But if we were to just allow this open-ended, you know what? Forget it. Let everyone who wants to come in. The country would cease to exist. We'd have all these people, skillless people. What are we going to do with them? How are they contributing? Well, we're just paying for everything. It doesn't make sense. Let the shutdown continue, my friends. That's what I say. The mainstream media is blaming this shutdown entirely on President Trump, and that gives the Democrats a tremendous amount of leverage. The longer this shutdown lasts, the more painful it will become for ordinary Americans, and once food stamp funds run out, pressure on President Trump to surrender will be immense. Will Trump be able to keep going once tens of millions of Americans are yelling and screaming about having their food stamp benefit cut off? For now, the Department of Agriculture will attempt to keep things going for as long as possible using existing resources. But those existing resources will not last very long. And things are already changing. At this point, approximately 95% of all federal workers involved with the food stamp program have been furloughed. So that you guys go home, we're not paying you. When we open back up, we'll back pay you, okay? As the government shutdown drags into its fifth day, nearly all employees of the office overseeing federal food stamps have been cut. As of Wednesday morning, the remaining staff dwindled down to a mere 5%. We have never seen food stamps benefits cut off nationwide before, so we actually don't have any time frame or reference for what could happen. Could we see the type of civil unrest and rioting that I warned about in The Beginning of the End, says Michael Snyder, which he has a book. When people are hungry, they get desperate pretty quickly. And history has shown that when people don't know where their next meal is going to come from, they can get quite violent. And even without the government shutdown, President Trump was planning to knock millions of people off the food stamp program anyways by tightening work requirements. And I agreed. We cannot have this freeloading system that no one wants to work. Listen, there are going to be people out there who say, I can survive off these food stamps. I've got a system down where I've got help over here, I've got help over there, and food stamps here, right? And I'm not going to go out and be able to buy stuff, right? There's going to be no buying a trailer. There's no Polaris off-road vehicle. No, you want that stuff like I do? I want it. I got to work for it. I have a freaking day job. I do this stuff. YouTube. I got Patreon. I'm doing stuff because I want stuff. Not that I want a million things, but I want better things out of life. I want to live a little bit. I'm not that old. I want to start living when I'm 60. I'm 40. Most people can't even start when they're 40. But I've been like a workaholic. I work and I do stuff. I'm always searching for things, man. How can I earn more money? How can I do this? How can, and oh, by the way, guys, I found a way to earn some money. Come over here with me on YouTube, Patreon. Hey guys, check this out. I got a guy who's got some incredible calls. Hey, So, anyways, let me see what this is here. Yep. About to do a Skype with somebody, which I will go ahead and get my headset ready so I can hear this thing beeping at me when they call. If Congress won't make more food stamp recipients work for their benefits, the Trump administration will. Blah, blah, blah. So one way or another, a lot of people are soon going to lose their benefits. Meanwhile, federal workers continue to freak out over this government shutdown. The following comes from a New York Times article. Blah, blah, yeah, sure. As you can see, the suffering is getting worse with each passing day. What is next? We will soon discover that some government workers have been forced to buy generic brands at the grocery store due to this never-ending horror of a government shutdown. But seriously, the longer the shutdown lasts, the more that people are going to complain. And right now, Trump does not appear to have any intention of giving in. When reporters asked him how long he's willing to wait, Trump responded by saying, whatever it takes. Funding for 9 federal departments lapsed Saturday amid an impasse over whether to fund the president's proposed border wall, as congressional leaders in the White House appear to make little progress towards a deal. The shutdown could last past January 3rd, when Democrats take control of the House. Asked Wednesday during a surprise visit to U.S. troops in Iraq how long he would wait to see his demands met, Trump responded, "Whatever it takes." Of course, Chuck Schumer has drawn a line in the sand and has pledged that he will never, ever allow Trump to have funding for a border wall. And so we have a political game of chicken being played out right now in front of our eyes. And the Democrats have absolutely no incentive to back down, because the worse things get, the better it will be for them politically. At this point, it is very easy to imagine a scenario in which this shutdown extends into February, and when food stamp benefits get cut off, we could truly see a national temper tantrum unlike anything that we have ever seen before. The question, though, is Trump going to allow it to get to that point? Like I said, because the border is a national security issue, and we've already had, quote-unquote, terrorists come over, 10 according to them, he has the authority to deal with that. And if it means building a wall with the Army, Corps of Engineers, so be it. And Q kind of sort of hinted to that, recently. So I think Trump might just be playing the game with them, just to basically say, Schumer, I'm going to make you guys pass the wall funding. I'm going to make you do it. You and Pelosi. And I'm going to call you out when I'm done. Hey, the Democrats caved. Yeah, we got the funding we needed. And little Chucky Schumer is going to go away with his tail stuck between his legs like a little cur dog. So, anyways, remains to be seen. This is interesting times. I'm just glad I'm not a food stamp recipient. And if I was, I would no way, no how sit there and say, well, I could make this work. I could just scrape by and I could sit home all day and just enjoy life. No, I want more out of life. I want to go do some treasure hunting. I want, seriously, I want to go see some things. I want to be able to pay for that. Money isn't for free. So my gear is always turning. Other things I could do, some side cash, and these cryptos came out and all this stuff. It's like, oh wow, this is great. And I can talk about on YouTube, this political stuff on YouTube, whatever. Again, my Patreon, like I got a fine system down. Come home or spend a little bit of time doing my videos, researching throughout the day, Patreon stuff, whatever. So I'm not like extremely busy working. I do have my day job, but again, I'm trying to fade that out slowly but surely to really just go, balls to the wall into this kind of stuff, whether it's, YouTube and Patreon or whatever. I say whether, actually it would be both. I enjoy it. You gotta understand, I was doing videos when no one was allowed to make money on YouTube. Just doing videos, talking about stuff, because I noticed people were interested in what I had to say, and nobody on Facebook was interested at all. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll just keep it going on YouTube. Then they allowed the little ad things, the little pop-up square ads, and then they did the video ads. And when they did the video ads, that's when the revenue got better. And then I was like, okay, well, turn off those little square ads. I don't even want those things anymore. And it jumped a little bit more because it was only the video ads. I was like, oh, cool. So I was like, okay, I kind of like this. This is neat. And I thought, man, if I can get to one day where this pays like my rent, back at the old house, like if I could just get this to pay my rent, that means, my day job, I could do other things with that, makes my life a little easier. So, I just thought if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But as your subscriber count gets higher, the views typically get higher of your videos, obviously. Therefore, it's just math. So I'm like, well, I'm not stopping. I don't want to stop. I enjoy this. So slowly but surely, I'm giving myself just a little bit of a sliver of a pay raise every now and then, so it's kind of neat. But look, I recognize I'm in a unique position, but I didn't exactly just turn my YouTube channel and Patreon, a few months ago, and all of a sudden all these people came over. I've built this channel going back years of just talking and trying to explain things and educate people on different things, politically, financially, whatever, this crap we deal with in the government, conspiracy stuff, whatever, So, whatever. I think Trump's going to do the right thing. I don't think we have anything to be worried about, but, could he go that far where food stamps start getting cut? I guess he could. I just don't think it's going to get to that point. Take care.